Hello, everybody. We expected by this point to be in hazard, providing an update on the ground. It is currently not safe to land in hazard. So wanted to provide as much information as we could. And then I get to introduce FEMA's administrator, Deanne Criswell, who is here on the ground in Kentucky with us. This is really day 2 of what we've been going through, and having the top official at FEMA here is a incredible show of commitment that we are grateful for. First piece of news is that today, President Joe Biden ordered federal aid to assist with recovery efforts in 13 eastern Kentucky counties devastated by historic flooding. We asked for this last night. It came this morning, one of the fastest disaster declarations we've seen, and we are grateful for it. Federal funding is available to the Commonwealth, eligible local governments, and certain private nonprofit organizations on a cost-sharing basis. Right now, the county's included, and oftentimes this expands. Are Breathitt, Clay, Floyd, Johnson, Knott, Leslie, Letcher, McGoffin, Martin, Owsley, Perry, Pike, and Wolf. Federal funding is also available on a cost-sharing basis for hazard mitigation measures for the entire Commonwealth. What we'll be working on next is an application and a request on the individual assistance side, something that we've spoken directly with FEMA on and that we are all working on. They have their process they have to go through to ensure we qualify. I believe we will. That is ongoing. So that was good news. Tough news is 16 confirmed fatalities now. And folks, it's going to get a lot higher. They're in 4 counties. One in Perry County, it's an 81-year-old female. 11 of them thus far are in Knott County, including a 63-year-old man, a 65-year-old female, and 2 children. 2 are in Letcher County, a 79-year-old man and a 65-year-old woman, and 2 are in Clay County, including a 76-year-old woman. We will continue to provide updates as we get more information. I want to thank coroners from all over Kentucky that are pitching in to help, as well as our National Guard that is transporting bodies as we find them so that we can identify them. To all the families that know you've already sustained a loss, we're going to grieve with you. We're going to support you, and we're going to be here for you, not just today, but tomorrow and in the weeks and the years to come. For everybody out there that is scared, that can't get in touch with one of their relatives, cell phones are down in so many of these regions. Let me tell you, I know how you feel. I couldn't get in touch with members of my family after the tornadoes. So please continue to hope, continue to pray, and we will try to connect as many people as possible. I'm going to read out in a minute the Kentucky State Police numbers to report somebody unaccounted for. We have more posts that are involved, and they will include more counties. Right now, we have 10 total shelters, 4 from the Red Cross, 6 independent. We also have 2 state parks being actively used right now. Jenny Wiley, where we have 124 displaced people. Pine Mountain, we have rooms available there. And Buckhorn State Park in Perry County, it's a struggle to get to it right now, and we don't have power, but we're going to get it up and running. We know there's a lot of citizens of that county that need help. Right now, we believe total we're sheltering 337 people. Red Cross Shelter is also open at the Floyd Community Center, 7119 Kentucky 80 in Langley, Kentucky. But if you've been impacted, you can also call the Red Cross, 1-800-RED-CROSS. Overall, we believe as of now, 12 counties and 2 cities have reported states of emergency. Counties are Breathitt, Clay, Floyd, Letcher, Owsley, Pike, Lee, Perry, Leslie, McGoffin, Johnson, and Knott. And if your county has, and we don't have the information, just get it to us. The state of emergency that I signed yesterday covers every county in Kentucky. So if I didn't read your county name here, we are still responding. We still have the tools that we need. City of Beattyville, City of Paintsville are on here too. I believe the City of Hazard also has as well. So yesterday, it was actually later in the evening. We also, in conjunction with local officials, had to give an order to evacuate a part of the city of Jackson. That is the Pan Bowl Lake area. That dam, which we were worried about breaching a couple of years ago, had some discharge coming through it, raising very serious concerns. Um, Late last night, early this morning, we thought a real breach was imminent. We are hoping that's not the case. We're actually a little bit more optimistic, but still concerned. But people who live in that area, we have already gone door to door and around to try to evacuate as many people who are willing to go. If you're still there, why don't you go find a friend, a relative, somebody to stay with, go to a hotel, just get somewhere safe. We don't want to lose any more people than we have to. In that area, we evacuated the Kentucky River Medical Center that had 17 patients. Public Health is using a mobile ambulance bus to evacuate all of them. That is one of 3 senior or nursing homes that we've evacuated around the state, with a 4th partially evacuated. They've all gone well, thanks to amazing people who are out there taking care of these individuals. Also, evacuation of the Nim Henson Geriatric Center. That is 100+ patients also being evacuated in a mobile ambulance bus. So if you have relatives that were in either of those 2 facilities, from all our information, they're okay. We're getting them somewhere safe. As of last night, but really when we were over at the Emergency Operations Center, about 24,000 people, I think just under it currently, without power. It's mainly Kentucky Power customers. And listen, this is a huge natural disaster. Understand that it's going to do this. They're going to work as hard as they can to get it back up. Also, water systems are massively impacted and will continue to be. Please be careful around down power lines. Listen, if you've made it this far, be smart. Don't do things that would result in your loss or someone else's loss of life. If you've gotten this far, we need to make sure we get you fully through this. You can call Kentucky Power if you see lines down at 800-572-1113. Natural gas, approximately 135 customers have been isolated and service discontinued in Hindman, Kentucky. Kentucky Frontier Gas in Jackson reported this morning they had to shut off their system due to flooding of their regulator stations. They have about 635 meters down. Again, be safe around natural gas, around electric power, and be safe moving through this water. Don't walk through or drive through water with a current. Make sure that you're making good decisions, because listen, we're glad you're still with us after everything that has happened. Please be careful. We care about you. Kentucky State Police working diligently to respond to areas of eastern Kentucky affected by extreme flooding. If you are in an emergency, you dial 911. But if you're trying to report a lost loved one, make sure you don't call 911. Leave that open for the emergency. We need to know if your loved one is unaccounted for. This is going to be a real challenge with such a large area hit to get good unaccounted for numbers, but you out there can help us. I know that there are people all over Kentucky and America worried about loved ones. So I'm going to read you a series of counties, then the number that you call to report them unaccounted for. So let's start, and we'll post this online too. Let's start with Breathitt, Perry, Knott, Letcher, and Leslie counties. Let's do that again. Breathitt, Perry, Knott, Letcher, and Leslie. You contact Post 13. That number is 606-435-6069. Again, we'll post that at 606-435-6069. If you are reporting a missing loved one in Magoffin, Johnson, Martin, Floyd, or Pike, Magoffin, Johnson, Martin, Floyd, or Pike, you'll contact Post 9. That is 606-433-7711. 606-433-7711 for the media. Our release will contain all of this. If you need to report a missing loved one in Jackson, Owsley, or Lee, you're going to call post 7. That's 859-623-2404. And if you are reporting a missing loved one in Wolf or Morgan, that's post 8, 606-784-4127. If it's in Harlan County, it's post 10, 606-573-3131. A lot of people are calling in. If you get a busy signal or you can't get through, keep trying. Be patient, which is really hard when we're all scared. But keep trying because we need to take your call. It's just so many people are impacted that they're on a call with somebody else, making sure we have their information on their loved one. We're going to need your first name, your phone number. Oh, and we now have an email address set up if you are not able to get through. That is ksppubaff@ky.gov. ksppubaff@ky.gov, all one word. If you're doing that, put your name first and last, your phone number, missing loved one's name, missing loved one's county of residence, descriptions, gender, age, race, etc. As much information as you can give us, and their home address and phone number if you know it. KSP, like everybody else, working incredibly hard. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, already working to try to open up roadways and ensure safety. Yesterday, Jim Gray signed, that's our cabinet secretary, an order temporarily suspending motor carrier restrictions. This lets commercial drivers engaged in the response to the disaster, carrying critical supplies, restoring power, or clearing debris, to be able to get there faster without certain inspections. But as we sit here today, portions of at least 28 state roads in Kentucky are blocked due to flooding, slides, or damage. We have bridge inspectors and engineers in the field, but we're unable to even get to some of these roadways. It is so bad. Crews are still hard at work clearing as much mud and debris as they can. The Neighbor Helping Neighbor spirit is on full display. State crews in Highway District 11 are pitching in to help Clay County local governmental crews with search and rescue operations. And last night we had to close Kentucky 15 at that Panbowl Dam area. Many routes remain impassable. The route is open and clear from Jackson to Hazard, but Kentucky 7 and Letcher County and in many others are simply not passable. Kentuckians, obviously tough, resilient people. We are also generous. The people impacted by this are going to lose just about everything. And we believe that there will be thousands that have impacted. So yesterday, just like we did for our folks in Western Kentucky, we set up a fund where Kentuckians who want to help can make donations that will be run through state government with full transparency. You'll be able to see where every dollar has gone. No administrative fees. Every bit's going to go to help people. That is our Team Eastern Kentucky Relief Fund. You can access it at teamekyfloodrelieffund.ky.gov. In just since about 3:45 yesterday, 1,388 donations, $229,000. Thank you to the incredible people of Kentucky. A few other numbers. Make sure we have covered everything. We believe there have been over 294 civilians rescued through these operations. I believe that number is actually pretty low because I know we're way over 100 rescued just from air operations, just from our incredible National Guard, our Kentucky State Police. The Tennessee National Guard made rescues yesterday after arriving, the West Virginia National Guard. You know, these are the times where we just see everybody's generosity and the stuff you normally, I guess, argue about on any given day. We realize isn't that important, and we just come together to help one another. And let me just mention one last thing that's going to get to me a little bit, and then I'm really excited we have our FEMA administrator here today. On my way over here, coming back from the Emergency Operations Center, I got a call from mayor of one of the towns in Western Kentucky that was hit the hardest. It's Mayor Onan of Mayfield. She told me that Jeremy Creason, he's the fire chief there. I was talking to him the night the tornado was going through. His folks were out not knowing if they lost their houses or not. This is a guy that still is rebuilding. They lost their fire station. Think about the amount of work we're still doing in Mayfield. They're driving to Eastern Kentucky in an ambulance and some of their other equipment to help. And what they wanted to pass along is this Commonwealth was there for them when they were hit by the unimaginable. And they're going to be there for the people of Eastern Kentucky who are facing the same. You know who else is here for us? FEMA. Our federal government is responding. They are moving fast. They are in constant communication with us. The president called last night. Admittedly, I slept 2 hours last night, and he called during one of those 2 hours. But we are grateful. We are grateful. So today we have the top FEMA official on the ground in Kentucky this fast. So now I turn it over to FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell.
Governor, thank you very much. And let me just start by saying that, my heart aches for you again, going through so much tragedy again so soon. And as you heard from President Biden, we are here to help you as we are still in this life-saving portion of this mission, but we will also be here to assist you as you go through your recovery. And I'd like to start by just saying how incredible the first responders are. It's just really remarkable how so many people have gone out to help save lives, who many of them often we know are impacted by these events as well. And not even just the first responders. And I think as you heard the governor mention, our emergency management community across our states is such a strong community, and how quickly the neighboring states of Tennessee and West Virginia and Ohio came in to provide additional support is just really remarkable about how our communities can come together when needed to make sure that we're helping each other. And all of these heroes on the front lines, the neighbors helping neighbors, the first responders, and everybody else that's coming in, just want to express my gratitude for putting yourself out there to help everybody else, even though you may be going through something yourself. As you heard, the president did declare a major disaster declaration as we are going through these life-saving efforts right now. FEMA has brought in additional search and rescue teams to support the amazing efforts that are already ongoing on the ground. If there are additional resources that are needed for these life-saving missions, we will continue to bring in those resources. And as I've talked to the governor earlier this morning, and when I talked to him yesterday, we're committed to bringing whatever resources are necessary to support the life-saving efforts as well as the ongoing recovery efforts. The major disaster declaration, as you heard, it's going to cover a lot of the overtime costs that these communities are facing right now in responding to this. And as we get more information, it'll continue to grow and add additional types of support that will support the recovery efforts. We've had our Region 4 team here on the ground since yesterday morning. Our regional administrator, our FCO that has been here supporting the recovery from the tornadoes, as well as our Region 4 Incident Management Assistance team is embedded at the state EOC right now, making sure that we understand what potential needs might be and to have the resources here just in case we need them. We'd be happy to just turn them around if not needed. I will tell you that we are committed to making sure that we first continue to focus on the life safety mission, as there are still so many people that are unaccounted for. And I would ask everybody that's out there, please, the governor mentioned it as well, please pay attention to your local officials. Listen to the words that they're telling you. Listen to the evacuation orders, as this is still a very dynamic incident, and there's still so many hazards that are out there that we want to make sure that we minimize any disruption to you, and we want to protect you and your families. So many roads and bridges that have been damaged. And so you need to be extra cautious when you're traveling, but really making sure that you're listening to your local officials and what they ask you to do, because we want to make sure that we keep you safe, and we want to be able to use our resources to help those that are in need right now. And again, as the governor said, anyone with immediate needs, contact 911. But if you are missing loved ones, I strongly encourage you to look on the website that the governor announced, look up those phone numbers so we can get an accurate accounting. And if you have suffered some damage, and while we're still working through additional types of assistance that we can provide, I would ask you, once it is safe to do so, please start to document your damage and take photos of the damage. That way we'll have that information as we're looking to add additional assistance. And Governor, again, on behalf of the president, I would say that we are here to support you now. We will continue to support you in your recovery effort as long as you need us. Thank you.
I can't say I ever wanted to be on a first name basis with the administrator for FEMA, but I'm awfully glad that this state has the relationship we do with them. The administrator called me personally immediately after we reached out. I wanted to make sure they knew how serious and significant the event is. And about 12 hours later, here they are. Here soon, we're going to be able to take a aerial tour. It's going to be different. We had hoped to be in Hazard today. It's not safe to land there with the weather that is going on. We're going to get more of an aerial tour of Breathitt County, but just that weather should remind us that this isn't over. I mean, while we're doing search and rescue, there are still real dangers out there. The water hasn't crested in some areas and won't until tomorrow. We have some scattered showers that are still out there. Thankfully, are going to be dry at least Saturday, hopefully most of Sunday. But folks, right now, looks like it's going to rain a lot Monday, maybe Tuesday. So we will continue to watch that. But everybody out there, have a safety plan for when that comes. We don't want you to have to go through this twice. If you're able to hear us right now in Eastern Kentucky, listen, we love you. We're going to make it. We've been through so much these last couple of years. We're going to stand next to you now and in the years to come, and we'll get through this. We'll get through it together. We haven't gone through 2.5 years of a pandemic, multiple ice storms, other floods, the worst tornado event in our history, and any other challenge. We're going to make it. Thank you to everybody out there who is fighting so hard to protect, rescue folks. Thank you to everybody taking care of them in state parks and other shelters. So with that, we will open it up to questions. And I have a sheet here somewhere, but I am sure we have Tom Latek on the line. So we'll start with him.
Thank you, Governor. I wonder why you thought I'd be here. I have one question for you and one for the administrator, if I could. Do you have any count, or through emergency management or the local officials, on how many people are missing at this point? And for the administrator, can she explain or tell me how many folks FEMA has on the ground right now?
So we don't have a reliable number of people unaccounted for. It's for a couple of reasons. Number one, communication is still very difficult. We're trying to amplify cell service. We hope we're going to get a big step made today in doing that, but it's going to be really challenging in this area to get a good number. It's going to be very challenging to get a good number. But what people can do to help us the most is to report their unaccounted loved one with those numbers that I put out. And again, to the press, that'll be in our release. Please try to distribute those. Rocky ran into somebody who can't get in contact with their mom. And that number is something that individual needs. Administrator?
Yes, I don't have an exact number of the personnel that we have on the ground right now, but what I can tell you is that we have our federal coordinating officer who has been here supporting the recovery efforts from the tornadoes, who has been embedded at the state AOC, and he is there with them right now. We also have our Regional 4 IMAT team that arrived late last night, and they are in the EOC working side by side with their state partners today. And we're also able to use some of the personnel that are supporting the recovery efforts making sure that it doesn't impact the recovery, but can support some of the initial response needs, because life safety right now is the most important thing. And as we get a better idea of what the shortfalls are, we will continue to bring in more personnel throughout the next few days.
Joe Sonka, Courier-Journal.
Thanks, Governor. You mentioned the concern over the dam near the city of Jackson. Are there any other specific dams in the Breathitt County, Perry County area that you're concerned about and closely monitoring and considering actions on?
I'm not aware at the moment of another dam that we believe is at the potential failure stage that Jackson is. But with that said, in Perry County, they're still trying to figure out how many bridges they've lost. It's bad. And then just about every culvert of every low-lying area has been at least severely damaged. We will have to see in Letcher County with just historic flooding exactly where that is. And we're still getting information in, again, with the cell phone issues. But to my knowledge, that is the dam we are most focused on. Though right as I left the EOC, maybe a little more reason for hope than we had early this morning or last night. John Cheeves, Lexington Herald-Leader.
Thank you, Governor. The flooding is just going to unfortunately get worse in coming years thanks to extreme weather. We return to some of these poor communities over and over to help them deal with it once it's happening. Is there anything that the state government can do, or FEMA or the federal government, to help these communities prepare for these flooding disasters ahead of time rather than just helping them deal with it after the fact?
It's absolutely something that we have to do, and had that mission even when we didn't have flooding this severe or this deadly. Certainly a couple things we've been doing over the past 2 years with the aid of the federal government is a number of resiliency grants directly related to flooding that we have been implementing in these communities. Now, this type of flood, hard to prevent. I mean, it's just so high. But we certainly have to build more resilient communities. Another thing that we have been doing through the ARPA funds are water and sewer projects that do help. Some of this flooding we see, especially in our towns, is when storm water sewers are overrun. We see that in big rains. Now imagine it in a torrential rain. So every time that we upgrade water and sewer, especially rural water and sewer, we give a much better shot at this not happening. That's also the pumps and the age of everything that's in it. It's the ability for some of it to work remotely because right now some of the challenges are you can't get into it. Certainly looking at the resiliency in our bridges and our roads. I think the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act is going to give us opportunity to do that. And we need to do that. And I want to be clear that I believe we should do that, especially as we see more extreme weather. But I will tell you, I feel a lot like I did during the tornadoes of even if we had been able to do more, when you see the amount of water in Breathitt County and in Letcher County, it's a tough one. I don't know what could have stopped some of this. Sean from Wave, Bouty.
Governor, a lot of people from the state obviously want to help on this. So we've heard some stories of people driving from across the state to go there. Is that the best way they can help right now? I know it's dangerous travel conditions. What can people do if they really want to help from across the state right now?
So right now we are in search and rescue, which needs to be done by professionals. If you want to volunteer, you need to get in touch with one of these search and rescue groups, local emergency management, before driving. We don't want to lose people who try to get somewhere to help, but because of road conditions, ultimately can't make it. Listen, we're going to need volunteers for a lot, but we're going to need them in the days and the weeks to come. That's one of the challenges of all these, is that the whole world wants to help the day it's happening and the day after. But when the families really need us, are cleaning out the house after the water has receded and rebuilding the house when we reach that stage. We may end up needing volunteers to help those that we are sheltering during this. Right now, people can collect supplies, and when it's safe, we can get it to the shelters. The most important things are water and cleaning supplies. Right now, I don't know that people need clothes. Oftentimes, that's what you see. People with the clothes they don't need anymore. Water and cleaning supplies, collect them, and then we'll give you the all clear to get them where they need to go. Right now, we're making plans to airlift water to certain areas that might not be reachable for a period of time. So think about the danger that could be out there for people who are trying to get there. And then the other way that you can help, and it's truly going to help in the year to come, is the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund. Just look at what a similar fund has done in Western Kentucky, from paying for every funeral to providing a payment to help everybody get by who is an insured or uninsured renter and or homeowner that went through the FEMA process, to helping farmers, to rebuilding 300 homes with 3 nonprofits, to now helping people in other ways. This is what gives us the extra help, especially 6 months from now, because you've seen the pictures. In many ways, like the tornado, a lot of these houses are just gone. And even if some of the houses are still there, they may be uninhabitable moving forward. Okay, thank you for everybody who joined us for the briefing today. We're going to continue to provide as much timely information as we can, either live like this or through release and social media. Everybody keep praying. We're not out of this yet. Thank you.